What about you? Today, I'm going to give you some really good tips on how to start a new business. I'm going to say that these tips just aren't relevant to gardeners. It doesn't matter what trade you're in. You might be a landscaper, you might be a joiner, you might be a plumber, you might be a window cleaner. These tips can be applied to anyone. Before you start, you need to write a good, solid business plan. Now, a word to the wise. Writing your business plan on the back of a fag packet, that doesn't count as a business plan. If you're watching this in the UK, most local councils will give you support and mentoring. If you have any questions about the stuff I'm covering, always leave me a comment down below. And if you're enjoying the video, make sure to smash that like button. Next up is to understand your overheads before you even think about setting your pricing. This is rule 101, and this comes up all the time on my channel. Robbie, what should I charge for cutting the lawn or cutting the hedge? This one, 110% comes down to your business plan. Now, some of the costs that you're likely to have, and your single biggest expense, I would say, would be your vehicle cost. You can't do gardening without having some sort of transport, and that's going to start with you either buying or leasing a truck or a van, and that's going to be your single biggest expense. Now, that van and truck is also going to need fuel, insurance, and maintenance. Now, the older the truck, the more maintenance. Another expense that you're most likely to have is advertising. Now, this can include creating a website, flyers, and social media advertising. A lot of people are going to say it's free to set up Facebook, etc. Chances are, whenever you set up your Facebook page, you're going to share it with your friends and your family, but are they going to buy your services from you? Other things that cost money, expenses, and that includes stuff like having a computer, the telephone at home, your mobile, software, and the internet. Now, I'm going to touch on a service that I use to run my business, and it's easy for me to recommend because I've been using it for about the last 10 years to run my business. I use an app called Jobber, and it does all my scheduling, invoicing, and a whole lot more. There's tons and tons of boring stuff that it takes to run a successful business, and that's where Jobber comes in for me, and it automates so much stuff. If I send a quote to a client, it can follow that quote up. If an invoice is late, it sends late invoices to the customers. Automatic payments, this one's a game changer for me. If you turn this on, if I turn up to a job and we mark that job complete, we're driving out of the gate, it invoices the client, it takes the payment, and then a few days later, that money is in my account, and all I have to do is hit complete. So I'm a Jobber partner, and if you use my link below, it gets you 20% off your first 6 months, and if you use my link, it also helps support this channel. Next up, we'll have USP, or your unique selling point. This is basically the reason that somebody chooses you over the next guy. Now, if you're just starting out and you don't have that much experience and you're wondering what your USP can be, have something like you only run on battery tools, and this helps keep the noise levels down and it's more sustainable. Or you offer a personalized service that a large company can't do, or you can be competitive on pricing, as you maybe have lower business costs, but you really need to be careful with that last one. You don't want to just lowball to win work, because that's going to hurt you in the long run. There are two things that I want to touch on for your USP, and that is how you communicate that to your customers, your potential customers, through your website and your social media and your flyers. The other thing is with your pricing. You really need to have your head around your costs before you set a price for any product or service. The key thing to remember with pricing is don't go in too cheap just to win work. That's going to be the road to no time. Now, you never want to be the busy fool, and you certainly shouldn't be losing money on any job. That makes absolutely no sense. Now, you want to set yourself a minimum amount that you have to earn each day, week, and month. And the amount that you would like to earn. Those two figures are separate. And once that money starts coming in, you want to have at least two bank accounts. One for the day-to-day running of the business, expenses, wages, pension, and the other for tax and the rainy day fund. And the days that you can't work, because there's going to be days where you're sick, there's going to be rain, the weather is going to work against you, breakdowns, and probably lastly, you might not have enough work. Now, on that note, I listened to a really good podcast that was all about how to generate winter work, the J-Rock podcast. I'll leave a link down in the video description. It's really worth listening to. Another powerful tool that you can have starting a business is networking. Now, never underestimate the power of networking. In fact, a member of a forum called the Landscape Juice, and I actually used there to gather some of the research for this video. Again, I'll leave a link down in the video description. You want to network as much as you can. Facebook groups, really good. A lot of people will share a lot of really valuable information on there. The other gardeners in your local area, make an effort, go and say hello. Often I get referrals from other gardeners and I pass them work back too. I call it the circle of trust. Great, you've done your business plan, you've set your prices, you know who your customers are, happy days. You go out to see your first customer and you send them a quote. What else do you need to think about? Terms and conditions. Terms and conditions are really important, both for you and for the customer. A lot of people think that terms and conditions are just about protecting the customer, and while that is true, 10 years in business has taught me that terms and conditions also protect me. What I mean from that, there is a lot of unscrupulous people out there, and if you send a quote without any terms and conditions, you're going to leave yourself wide open. However, your terms and conditions to set out clearly what you expect from people and what happens if there's a problem and how you expect to get paid. If you don't know how to set up your terms and conditions, what I advise you to do, I do it myself. I'm a member of the Federation of Small Business. It costs around about £150 a year for small business to join, and there's a free legal helpline. So if you need any advice or if you need contracts of employment for employees, there's loads of HR benefits to join as well. Health and safety. All I'm going to say about health and safety is, if you think it's expensive, wait until you have an accident. What do I mean about that? Let's say you take a guard off a strimmer so that you can do the edges better, and a stone flies out and hits a window at the client's house, or worse, it takes out a child's eye. There are loads and loads of random things that can go wrong. Now, taking that guard off, that can stop the insurance from paying out. And the other thing you need to do is sign up with HMRC and declare yourself self-employed. And you want to find out how to price gardening, watch this video next.